Oh, hello everybody. It is time for the Misfits Racing League Endurance Series. We're here for the 7th round of action as F1 takes to the French Grand Prix this weekend. And joining me for our version, Unicorn, how you doing?
Yes, Jeff, thank you. I'm doing well. And, well, this is going to be an interesting one. France, 100%, obviously. A very, very interesting track. One we've seen a lot of action at over the course of this season. Tire strategies here and there. Some very late safety cars causing a lot of confusion. But here, 100%, tire strategies very, very different to what we've seen in a 50% race. So I'll be interested to see what we get ahead of this. I've had a conversation with a few of the drivers. They're a little bit confused as to what to go for. And all of that should make for some excellent racing this evening.
Couldn't agree more. It's a circuit with a lot of overtaking ability. It's it's a larger circuit in the sense of you can go wheel to wheel through a lot of the turns. There's a lot of space here. Now, overtaking can be, in that sense, a little bit more difficult as well because of the DRS capabilities here in France, but we'll have to see how these drivers fare going through the 100% distance campaign. Of course, we have full damage as well as the strict corner cutting in place, so penalties can play a role here. At the end of the race, we're going to have the short qualifying, 18 minutes. We're going to have a full grid lineup here as well for this one. So very, very exciting stuff to see.
Yeah, absolutely. A full, grid of 20 drivers, and we've got a lot of fast people in here for this French Grand Prix, and I think we are ready to get going here. So, fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a long race, but I'm sure, as it always is, start to finish action from the moment we get going here.
A lot of very fast, capable drivers on this grid today. And I mean very, very compact grid. I think we're going to see a very tight qualifying here. I think we might see some strategy differentials, as you said. But we even have Ben the Bear on the grid today. And he is a very, very fast driver who we haven't seen in an endurance race in some time. As well as we have Dirk Chocolate, Alex Budd, Ace on the grid, Vexit, Scars, Tuptus, Will Gibson, and we have Remco Van Putten. We're going to go through the grid, of course, in the qualifying, but we do have a lot of very, very fast drivers here today taking to this, well, I was going to say the streets, but of course, this circuit, of course, Circuit Paul Ricard here in Le Castellet, France. And it is going to be a very, very fun campaign as we are now ready to jump in to the session.
Yeah, coming out of Baku, it's a much more open track. You can see there's huge runoffs here, so mistakes aren't as heavily punished around here. In an endurance race, that's a little bit of a sigh of relief. It's a long time to maintain concentration. We always say this about these races. It is overcast. Obviously, we know the forecast coming into this, and no rain on the horizon, which the drivers will be thankful for. But we do have 20 of them. We've got 100%. But of course, first of all, we've got to have 18 minutes of qualifying here at Paul Ricard.
As you can see the track map there on the right, and as you saw earlier in the pre-show, it's a very long circuit here in France, and a lot of straights here, especially in Sector 2. It pretty well is an entire straight. You have that 8-9 chicane. We'll see how the drivers do coming through that 8-9 chicane, as well as, of course, that first Sector 2 split there. That can be a very tricky corner as well, especially on the opening lap. You have the first turn. Sector 3 can be also very tricky, especially if you have anyone attacking you through turn 10.
And track limits as well. You mentioned it there, that opening turn coming through turn 1 into turn 2. Track limits over the course of, 100% race. Would not be surprised to see a few people pick up penalties, whether it be there, running wide side by side with people. You mentioned it, Sector 3, very, very tricky. If you're going side by side, and as a result, very easy to pick up a penalty. So keeping it clean throughout this entire race is going to be no mean feat, but we do have drivers onto the track. It is Tuptus right now. First out in the racing point. He's got Remco Van Putten right behind him in the Renault.
I would say this is a veteran grid with a lot of the drivers on the grid here being pretty experienced in league racing. We have Ace, Tuptus, Scars, of course, all MRL drivers, as well as Lars and Remco, Captain Minor, BTFU, Vincent, Ben the Bear. I mean, it really is an entire MRL shakedown all throughout this grid. We have Domi, Yama, WG there as a reserve in some of the MRL divisions, as well as Alex Budd, full-time Tier 3 driver, Vexit, a very fast Tier 1 driver, Some idiot, captain of the Pirates, if you will. Henners, he's in tier 2. Dirk Chocolate, he's in tier 3. You have Yagaswal there in 18th position. 4-door Swifty. It's a very, very fast grid, and I think we're going to see a lot of these times start to shine through here in this qualifying. It is actually going to be Remco Van Putten to bring us through the first lap. He let, Tuptus let him through there, and he's going to gear up and run us through a lap of the circuit. Paul Ricard.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tier 1 drivers on here, and that makes it interesting because I want to see where Ben the Bear stacks up against these guys. Hasn't been in tier 1 this season, obviously in the APAC division. More suits his time, but, well, he's here today. Here goes the Remco Van Putten charging out of turn 15, getting the best run he can to start the first flying lap of the session here in the Renault. Used to being in the Red Bull, but down into turn 1, flinging it around into turn 2, making sure to not invalidate on the outside there. A little bit shaky, but keeps it valid now as he steams down into turn 3. Now through into 4, getting this right on the gears, making sure to get that car turnaround lined up a little bit wide as he comes through 5. Now through the long sweeping right-hander of 6, making sure you get the best exit out of here so you can swing through 7 onto this long DRS straight here as he flies down towards, of course, 8 and 9, breaking up the long straight here that some disciplines use. But here in F1 we do have it, and here it is, 8 into 9 for Remco Van Putten, and nicely done through there early on the power. Not quite 100% throttle just so he doesn't lose the rear, but you can see a few spins through there. It's probably the most likely place to get a safety car as well if it's a singular crash, as he swings through the flat-out right-hander of turn 10. Now coming into the long right-hander of turn 11. Very tricky to get this one right. Very late apex. There it is. There's Ace just about off the racing line. Don't think he impeded Remco there, and he's in the Red Bull that Remco is so used to driving. Now as he comes through turn 13, another fast right-hander into the penultimate corner. Turn 14 here, long left-hander into the final hairpin. Turn 15, they're getting it turned around out of the corner. And again, exit very, very critical here. Another long DRS straight, and it's going to be across the line. It's a 1:28.111 for the Dutchman. And Tuptus a 1:27.3, so much better time there from the Racing Point to open up the qualifying times here in France.
Was a very good run there. Vincent comes through at 28.139, very tight to the rear of the Renault already here. More drivers will be crossing the line to set times here. BTFU at 29.6 from the Alfa Romeo. We'll see who else comes across the line now. There goes Yags in 4th position, and he gets bumped. Swifty, a 27.533. Just 200ths on the rear of Tuptus now. And the Bear goes through. He's 5th quickest at 28.392.
Yeah, apparently using reduced fuel modes there, according to JA Games in the chat. So Ben the Bear not pushing yet in the McLaren this evening, but a 1:28.3, not a bad sign. There goes, I believe, 4-door sedan crossing into 7, and there goes Larsen just beating him with a 1:28.8. Both Red Bulls right now flying. It's a Shazoo team right there. Tier 1 drivers, Vexit and Ace. Vexit will be first across the line, and there is provisional Polar 1:27.2 to dethrone Tuptus. Can his teammate for the evening, Ace Ritchie, do anything about that time? The Dutchman coming through into the final corner now. And the other Red Bull, there is the DRS zone to drag him across the line. I think he just lifted off there. Strength, I don't think that's his most competitive time, 1:27.4. Still a good time, but it looked like he just fluttered on the throttle there.
Well, it still got him into 3rd position here, just on the rear of Tuptus, and now we have 12 times set on the board. The separation on the grid from 1st to 7th position is 1.165, and there's a very tight separation among the top 4 right now. Quite a few drivers yet to set times here.
Yeah, and strategies very, very difficult, to come up with in these 100% races, and those starting outside the top 10, well, on tracks with a powerful reserve strategy in a typical 50% league races, they're not too disheartened. But here in a 100% race, starting outside the top 10 does not mean you cannot finish even on the podium, because there's so much time for people to make mistakes, people to gain positions, and for tire strategies to play out. You have safety cars to factor in. difficult to pull one out here, but we've said that before around France Drift, and we've seen safety cars completely change races this season around here. So we'll see what happens. It's a waiting game. Dirk Chocolate's just started his flying lap in the Alpha Tauri for the evening.
I imagine a lot of viewers wanting to see what the Alpha Tauri is able to do here around France. A very competitive grid here.
And Dirk, he's been improving all season long. You can see it. He's really now pushing for the top spots in Tier 3. As still what he could do here, like you say, a very, very competitive grid. But again, if Dirk can keep it clean on the penalties, make sure to not get damage, avoid having to stop more than he plans. Still very much possible. Points. Yeah, we'll just see what sort of time he can post here in qualifying as he comes into Sector 3, 49.2 coming out of Sector 2.
This is one of my favorite turns, turn 11. I love that turn.
Late apex, it's just, you can have side-by-side through there as well. It's wide enough. It's not necessarily, well advised if you want to keep your lap times up, but it's very possible. That's one thing about this track here in the game. It's much more forgiving. Obviously, in real life, there's a lot more on the line, a lot more risk involved. Here comes Dirk Chocolate. What's he going to do? It's P8, a 128.4.
Time from him
right now. Not a bad time considering the other times we got here on this grid. He's ahead of 5 other drivers right there, so not bad from him right now. Paul Gibson, he's just coming around to finish out a lap in the McLaren. He's behind Scars, maybe a little bit of a tow here. Down the back straight. No intention, I shouldn't think, from the South African. And there goes Will Gibson, just ahead of his teammate for the evening, Ben the Bear. 128.3 for Ben, and 128.1 for Will. So a little bit of a gap there between those two in the grid right now.
Speaking of gaps right now, things starting to tighten up in the grid as drivers come to terms with the circuit. Scars checking in with him, coming through 5 and 6. He's invalidated his run. Yama is on the move.
A lot of drivers now on flyers, second of the session, and there will be time for, I should think, one more after this run as well. So if it doesn't all go to plan, they'll have one more opportunity. A lot of drivers yet to set times in. You just mentioned Yama. He hasn't set a time yet in. That Mercedes' teammate for the evening, Domi, hasn't set one. Scars, they're all on flyers. Henna's right now, he's coming through the final sector in the Alfa Romeo. We'll see what he can do for his first official time for the session as he comes through the penultimate corner, turn 14 into 15. Alfa Romeo now hammering down the throttle into the DRS. What's it going to be from him? It's a 127.2 to beat, and he goes 8 fastest again. Pretty heavily contested zone right now. 128.2 splits the two McLarens.
Yamamoto invalidated. Alex Budd on an outlap. Some idiot in the racing point. He will be looking to set a time here.
Yeah, I was talking to him before the race, and he was saying he wouldn't even mind starting outside that top 10. That's starting on a hard tire, see what he can do. He was, well, ooh, there it is. There was any indication that he wants to start on something other than the softs.
Yeah, that's a big indication that he's got something else in mind here.
Domi Jager's goal as well.
Domi finishing out a run. He goes 12, 28, 444. Did it on the mediums.
Yeah, that's the fastest time we've seen on the mediums so far, but it might get improved because Ben the Bear, he's just started a run on the yellow walled compounds as well. BTFU just slotted himself behind his teammate into 10th place, 128.3.
I'm gonna note, I believe Yag's previous lap was on the medium, so that's his soft run now coming through into that 4th position, so it's a solid run from him. BTFU as well, 10th position right behind his teammate, making things quite tight between the McLarens and the Alfa Romeos this evening. Alex Budd now, he's on a charge. He is in the Alpha Tauri.
On board with Ben the Bear at the moment. He's going to see what his time is, and he's up 2/10 coming out of the first two sectors. It would seem, sort of in and amongst his teammate right now. Will Gibson a 1:28.1. That's where losing 2/10 would put him around there. But sector 3, time to be won and lost, especially if Ben was planning this. Who is that? There's a Red Bull facing the wrong way there. I don't know if that was Ace or Vexit, but you don't expect either of those drivers to be facing the wrong way. Striff, and well, here we are in qualifying. Both are on flyers as well. I do think it was Ace Ritchie. Here comes Ben the Bear though to the line, and it's a 1:27.9, and just puts him ahead of Will Gibson there in 8th place. But that is on the mediums, and not a bad time at all. It's 6/10 faster, 5/10 faster than Domi's time. Apologies, went the wrong way there with the calculations. Alex Budd, well, he's about to finish out his lap in the Alpha Tauri. I do believe Larsen just hit 14th with a 1:28.6.
This is looking to be a pretty solid run here for Alex. First time set of the evening. It's a 29.1, gets him 15th ahead of Captain Minor and 4-door sedan. Alex Budd recovering from, I do believe, an injury in his shoulder, so we'll see what he's able to get done today. It's the endurance race after all, and we just want to see him back driving as best he can.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know yourself now, the wheel that Alex has got is that after a 100% race, this man is going to be tired. And
yes,
well, we've had it before where we've seen Alex, he does, that wheel does come to haunt him, whereas a lot of these drivers, they're on a pad. That's a lot less, shall we say, physically intensive. And Alex, like you say, recovering from an injury, so if he makes it to the end of this race, it's that in itself, these drivers, we always said, just getting to the end of one of these endurance races, it looks a lot easier than it really is.
Well, all I can say is the man is a very strong individual. I wouldn't want to arm wrestle him.
Well, I don't think we've got anyone on a flyer right now. It's the calm before the storm.
Dirk may be on a flyer here. However, it did not appear that he is improving coming through turn 11 now. He's just ran it wide now, so I imagine that will be the end of it.
Yeah, I imagine, put it in the pit lane. Well, there's Remco Van Putten go very slowly. He's trying to give himself as much space ahead, but there's not really anyone there to sort of cause a problem for him. But making sure he gets the best run out of the corner, but that will put someone on a flyer for us to go around with. The Renault currently sitting in 6th place at 1:27.8. I think Swifty tried to do something on the mediums. I don't think it worked out for him, and he's back onto the soft as well in that Williams. So a lot of the drivers, Swift, not in the cars that we're typically used to seeing. Obviously, it's first come, first serve here in endurance, and well, that will be a little bit confusing for us who are so used to seeing them in very specific cars week in, week out in the TID action here in MRL. Remco, though, nicely done coming out of turn 7. Very, very clean. That's Bordos the dad just letting him by.
Somebody had also on a flyer behind Remco not too far, and he'll be looking to get his first time in. Remco really took a big chunk out of the curbing through 8 there, George. Ooh. Yeah,
just too much. Just turning in too early at turn 8, trying to get as close to that apex as possible. You want to turn in early because obviously that lines you up the best for turn 9, but too early like that, and there it is, red track lap over, and he's got to make a decision now. Does he go again? I think he will go again, but he's got that fuel light on, so it might be a little bit touch and go. He might not make it to the end of the next lap, but he'll probably try it again anyway.
All right, now the Racing Point, some idiot. He has just done pretty well the same thing we've seen a couple of drivers do coming out of turn 11, running that curbing. He has blown that lap. He's on the medium compound tire, and he might not be too thrilled about it. He is dropping everything he's got there, letting everyone through now. Will Gibson flying. Captain Minor is also flying.
And Captain Minor right now, 129.4.
Scars, excuse me, a 27.880 moves into 7th position here. Immediate has begun another lap.
Here comes Captain Minor, 17th right now, and improves to 16th, 7/10 found. So big improvement there for him. And we'll see what Alex Budd can do. There goes Yama into 16th place, just ahead of the Haas.
Things are starting to get tight. Yama with a big snap coming out of turn 2. Gets it recovered.
They're just sort of coming out of a flying lap. You sort of just sigh of relief. Yagisol, he has just invalidated his run. Again, through sector 3. It's costing a lot of drivers here.
Will Gibson jumps 7th. He goes 127.871, moves ahead of Scars. Anders is on a flyer as well. Immediate now just coming into sector 3.
Vex is starting to fly as well. His teammate for the evening, Ace Ritchie, is flying, and obviously their teammates elsewhere as well. Both Shazoo drivers, and you can see them first and third right now. Very, very quick lap time. Some of them separated only by Tuptus, who is also flying in the race, but seems to be having some sort of connection issue. Hopefully that is not a problem in the rest of the session, and I think I might have cost him his lap as well. Domi just went 4th fastest. A 127.4. I don't know whether he's using the controller or a wheel this evening, but it's been improving greatly on the wheel. So I would not be surprised if that was a wheel time from him.
We are coming into chat saying that he is on the pad this evening, Domi.
Well, he's just behind Ace Ritchie, and he's about to finish out his final lap for the session. 127.4, his previous best. It's a 127.1 to beat for his teammate. And BT does 127.126, goes about 200ths faster. Vexit is also flying though. Tuptus is not. He was, but he had problems which cost him his lap. Can Vexit find more time? He was the man to beat. Ace is now the man to beat. On for 1-2 here for the Red Bull squad, but which way around is it going to be? And it's going to be Vexit ahead of Ace here by quite some time. 126.810, 3/10 faster than Ace, 3/10 faster than his previous best. That is worrying if you're another driver on this grid, because that is a hard time to beat. Dirk Chocolate, 12th place. Great improvement from him. Slots himself ahead of Ben the Bear. And Ben, well, I think he's one of those drivers, Shift, that may have just been gunning. We saw him, lift off a little bit. Don't think he was gunning for the soft time. He wanted to be on something other than the red compound at the start of the race. The question is, medium or hards? It's a big question here. Some idiot, king of the pirates. Obviously, no reserves here. It's a community event, but he was telling me before the race he does not want to start on the soft compounds. But now qualifying's over. It's a Red Bull 1-2. Tuptus failed in his final lap. He was separating them for the rest of the session, but now Vexit ahead of Ace on that front row.
Yeah, it's looking good if you're a Red Bull fan right now here in France, and I imagine coming on the heels of the qualifying today and Formula One, that's just a good day all around. But of course, we'll have to see how everybody fares here. The separation in this grid is extremely tight all throughout. DRS can play a significant factor here. We've seen these grids come through where if you make a mistake, if you blink, you just might get swallowed up.
And just very, very impressive, lap time there from Vexit to put himself head and shoulders above the rest of the field, including his teammate for the evening, Ace Ritchie, who's not done a bad lap time at all either. He's 2/10 ahead of Tuptus there in P3. Domi on the second row there. And he's 6/10 down off of pole and just ahead of Swifty, who tried experimenting with the mediums, ended up qualifying on the softs. Yagisol, he starts 6th ahead of Henners. Vincent in 8th. Remco Van Putten in 9th. And Will Gibson, the only other driver in the top 10. And then we'll go through the rest of the grid in a moment. But I imagine everyone else outside the top 10 not too concerned, Chef, especially Scars in that P11. Deck in 12th as well. Nice places to start if you want to do an alternate strategy, which, given the grand options here, there's a lot of them on the table in terms of tyres. I imagine we'll see a lot of them do.
Alex Bud there. I'm not entirely sure exactly how that happened. Of course, that DSQ starting at the back of the screen. Unfortunate, but they'll give him a little bit of an opportunity to maybe have a relaxed start in comparison with some of these drivers. Never know how these race starts can go.
Yeah, absolutely. DSQs in this game, you know, if he just spun and was stationary too long, letting people by, something like that nature, maybe spun, drove the wrong way for a little bit, trying to get the car turned around, and the game just DSQs you like that. Unfortunate to see those sort of issues arise, but you know, we're all very much used to them now. So while they are ever still disappointing, Alex will no doubt have taken it on the chin already and ready to go here with one of the harder compound tires, I imagine. So just trying to make the best of a bad situation there, and very, very possible to do so here.
Getting everybody in now, and it's just down to the end of it. Of course, massive shout out to our great partners, Next Level Racing. We have a great giveaway going on right now, exclamation giveaway in the chat if you are looking to enter and win a free racing cockpit.
Yeah, not every day you get the opportunity to get, you know, things for free, but especially not sim racing gear. But there it is, Next Level Racing, obviously giving one away, and we've been working with them for quite some time now. I'm very grateful for that. Exclamation mark giveaway in the chat, and of course, exclamation mark Discord as well if you want to join in for community races like this one. The 53 lap shift, France. It's going to be a long one. We've got 20 drivers on this grid, a lot of different tire compounds. We've got the top 10 on softs as we were, we knew, but there it is, mediums, hards, and also Ford also down on the softs, trying to find something there in 19th place at the start of this race. A little bit extra pace. Obviously, they last longer than in a 50% race. Should be exactly double the distance.
Well, I'm hoping that he has the start he needs to have here. He needs to cut through the harder runners, and he has, well, 7 of them to move through. So we'll see what he's able to do.
Yeah, absolutely, but the rest of the soft runners, they've got to put a bit of a gap here. There's a fairly long pit stop here, well over 25, 26 seconds. So you want to be pitting as few times as possible. That's why you've got, somebody there, hards as well as BTFU. He was saying that that's the sort of strategy he wants to be on. Obviously, safety cars around here, not likely, but possible. And if that happens, you want to be on a tire that you can sort of adapt to that situation. But it's Vexit on pole ahead of his teammate for the evening, Ace Ritchie, both Red Bulls 1-2. Then we've got Tuptus in third, Domi P4, Swifty John in fifth ahead of Yagi Soul. Then Henners, Vincent, Remco, Will Gibson all start on the softs in the top 10. Then we have Scars, Dirk Chocolate, Ben the Bear, and Larsen on the mediums, and 11th through 14th. BTFU and Some Idiot, they start on the hards ahead of Yama and Captain Minor, both on the mediums. Then Ford Sedan, soft compound tires in P19 looking to make some early positions, and Alex Budd starts 20th after being DSQ'd in qualifying for one reason or another, but he starts on the mediums again, just trying to think something different there to the softs. But here we go, everyone on the grid shift, it's just about time.
Well, we're here in Le Castellet, France. It's Circuit Paul Ricard. 3, 4, 5 red lights on here now in France. The engines are revving, the drivers are waiting, and the clutch has been released. The drivers are away, and it's throttle down, hammer out into turn 1. Vexit already on the defensive here from, well, there's been a VSC.
Will Gibson spun straight on the start. Not sure what happened, but he's come together. Larsen got collected there. I don't know how that happened, but as soon as the lights went out, pretty much the McLaren spinning round, damage. And I don't even know if it was the contact with the wall or another car that cost the wheel. But the suspension is gone there. And what you can see, not a lot of movement inside the top 10. Only Henners and Yegi Soul there exchanging. I mean, Tuptus now on the safety car restart. Tuptus a little wide, and that's going to open him up not only to Domi, but to Swifty as well.
Oh, this is serious action already.
Tuptus, what a great run. On the inside of Swifty as it comes down into 8-9. Later on the brakes, the nose spot as well. He's not going to lose 2 positions if he can help it, but Swifty's still there on the inside as they come out at 8 and 9, but it is the Racing Point ahead.
Henners is here. He's trying to pick up the pieces. He's on the rear of this Williams. Meanwhile, up at the front of things, Ace is etching closer to his teammate and begs it. We're coming into turn 11. Nothing doing just yet from any of the drivers in the top 10. Remco Van Putten on the rear of Vincent Nyquist. Vincent dropping a little bit on the rear of these cars as we come out of turn 11. He's already dropped a second, and this is going to really expose him. Yama and four-door on the outside now. Holding Yama. He's doing what he needs to do. He needs to use these softs. Big lock up. Yama's still there.
And, four-door, he needs to get past him. He's doing the right thing, but he needs to, not battle this much on these softs. Remco Van Putten around the outside of Vincent into turn 1. And the Renault gets that move done and dusted, but a little bit of a loss of traction out of the second corner, and now the Haas coming back at him as they go down. It's a little bit of contact between the two of them ahead. Yagisol gets back past Henners, who overtook him on the start. They're side by side. Remco's holding on to P8, and now he's got the popcorn to Henners and Yagisol. Henners around the outside, a bit wide though. He's into the huge off track here. He is ahead of the Ferrari, but now there goes Yagisol burning straight past, both using ERS here. But it is the Ferrari ahead as they come down towards 8 and 9. And there you go, Henners backing out there. Ben the Bear gets past Scars. He's up 3 places from where he started, up inside into turn 8. And, well, on the mediums, we know he's got a lot of pace. We'll see what he can do with it here this evening.
Yeah, he's already pulling away to Scars significantly here. Remco Van Putten, the Dutch driver, he just took Henners. He's looking at Yags already as we come through 11. He's trying to look at that inside and just pull it so that he can maybe get a toe, and he has a snap. Henners wants to get that position back, and it's still tight in this midfield between, well, the Ferrari Power and the hometown Renaults.
Yeah, you want in a good finish. This is your home race, and I don't believe it's the home race for anyone on the grid, but obviously Renault, good structure around here. And Ben the Bear looking for another position. Here he goes on the inside of Vincent. And the McLaren absolutely storming through the grid right now, up 4 places. That's, well, almost the most. It would have been the most had four-door sedan, not just overtaking Dirk Chocolate. That's his 5th move of the evening.
Dirk with a big slide there, and Vincent now already on the rear of Ben, wanting to try and get back, but Ben on these mediums showing great pace, and he's going to look to hunt down the rest of the train on the rear of Yags. Yags has, of course, Remco and Henners in close formation behind him. And he needs to really get himself hitched back up with Swifty here.
Yeah, the problem is here, even if he does get past Swifty's losing out to the Tuptus as well. And he's going to lose DRS in a moment. Be outside that 1 second. One of the top 3 running away with it. Tuptus sort of just there. He needs to stay in for when DRS starts to play a major role in this race. Obviously, early stages, hasn't played too much of a role yet. And Swifty, they're sort of in no man's land, not in DRS ahead, not with DRS behind. So he's just needs to sit tight, maybe able to still with the tires, but he's actually pushed here a little bit, got himself back just within the 1 second range, and he does have DRS. That's a big moment for the Williams, and nicely done from him to make sure he stays with the top 5 rather than falling back into the midfield. Remco Van Putten's got a great run. He's out of battery though, Striff. He's used up nearly all of it as he goes around the outside into turn 1. He has made 3 positions at the start of this race, but he's used his nearly entire battery here. And it's very early. Very, very early to have done that. 53 laps, and he's used it all in 3.
Meanwhile, four-door sedan now, he's also expended quite a bit of battery. He's on those softs trying to charge himself through this grid. He's got BTFU in his crosshairs now as we come through 5 and 6. Now we'll be moving through turn 7 in a moment, and I think BTFU with this, he's gone a little wide here. Four-door a lot cleaner through, and just look at this. He didn't even need the DRS. There's going to be an overtake for him, and Henners has been dispatched by Ben the Bear as well.
Yeah, pretty simple move for Ben. Henners defending the inside. Ben just later on the brakes around the outside into 8.
Alex Budd, Captain Minor having a bit of an exchange here as Captain Minor moves back through on Alex Budd through out of turn 9 now. Alex with a charge. Captain Minor pushing with what he's got right now to try and hold off the AlphaTauri. Alex Budd looking maybe to the inside of 11. He looks, but Captain Minor narrowly closing the door there. He goes deep and wide. Alex Budd coming back through tight. Nothing doing just yet.
There's someone else who's pushing Striff. Ace Ritchie. Why? Because he's losing out to his teammate ahead. Vexit, a lot of pace here in France. We saw it in qualifying. There's the fastest lap of the race at 133 flat. And, well, Ace struggling to keep up here. And obviously, Vexit, he just wants to leave the rest of the field behind. And like I said, get that gap so when the pit stops start coming in, less damage is done with that long pit lane. But you see just what the Red Bulls do here. They're still, sort of toying around. But Ace Ritchie, just outside DRS range, and the detection point, it's right around this corner, and he's not gonna have it. That is interesting. So Ace Ritchie now, he either has to burn his battery or say goodbye to Vexit, and right now burning the battery is the Dutch driver's choice. We'll see how that impacts him later in the race.
Yeah, Remco pushing to the middle line here as we come into the 8-9 chicane. Remco Van Putten holding this position right now. There's contact. The Ferrari's round. He's reset to circuit to avoid any contact with drivers coming through. He is going to get dispatched by Scars here, and I think the Racing Point may get him as well.
Yeah, it just looks like he was sort of letting by Scars there, and he's letting by somebody as well. I don't know whether that's because he knows, resetting to track's not allowed, and he's, wanting to get out of the way with the reset and then letting them by so as not to gain an advantage, which would be, great to see. Great sportsmanship there from the Ferrari. I don't think he's got damage, but great to see him being sensible there and letting some drivers by when he knows he's just had an issue. Tires might be hot as well. Swifty right now, he's closed right up to P4, not quite able to get a move down in turn 1. Ben the Bear though, well, he is, because Remco Van Putten, no battery to defend for the McLaren, and those mediums working out very nicely for Ben. He is up 7 places, Striff.
An absolute charge for him, really making a statement of pace right now. Of course, different tire strategy in it for him with the mediums versus all these softs around him in the field. Come through turn 7 right now, and you can just see the speed. He's pulling away nicely from Remco, just gradually. Swifty now looking at Top Tuss. I think we're going to see a move here. He looks to the inside. No move just yet.
Also worth pointing out that Vexit, well, he's being caught here, and well, Ace trying to stay with him, and he has done. Has expended a lot of battery, and that's put Domi in a great position here to start putting the Red Bulls under a bit of pressure. And he's carrying a lot more speed into there than Ace was as they come through turn 11. But my goodness, is the Hungarian looking for P2. Blame him, Ace is very vulnerable right now. Coming through into the final corner, and again, Domi just looks faster into the corner strip. He just looks more confident in that car right now. At this stage of the race, Ace does have DRS though. Once more on his teammate ahead. Domi has a little look, but nothing doing for the Mercedes, sorry, at this stage of the race.
2.2 seconds the separation between these front 3 runners to Top Tuss and the train Swifty, Ben, and Remco behind. And the question I have is, at what point do the tires really come into Ben the Bear's favor? They haven't been in his favor yet, and he's already done a major amount of work on them.
And he might be about to do some more here, Striff, because, well, Swifty does have DRS ahead, but Ben has just been on fire. There goes Swifty. You can see him hopping out onto the inside of Top Tuss. This time around, he does get the move on the racing point. And does Ben go for the lunge as well? He thought about it. He was on the inside line, trying to force a mistake there from Top Tuss, and it hasn't even cost him that time on the exit either, really, to the racing point. McLaren all over him, and maybe here and move on the inside into 10. A little bit risky, but he's got the speed to do so, and there he goes. Swings up the inside, and Ben the Bear is absolutely flying through this grid. Just look at him go. Swifty wide as well, and that's going to open him up Ben the Bear is here, and well, if he doesn't get past into turn 1, I would be very, very surprised. He is using a bit more battery than most other drivers, but well, you can't say he's putting it to bad use. He has just been, hasn't really put a foot wrong so far at the start of this race.
He really hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been making a lot of really good moves. Here goes another overtake for Ben. This will be his 9th overtake of the race. He's moved himself into 4th position, 2.7 seconds, and starting to drop already is the gap to the front 3. And he could very well just be the driver to bridge the train to the front 3 right now.
Well, when the tires, softs will start to die out, and if anyone's the man with pace to catch 3 tier 1 drivers, Ben the Bear is the one to do it. He has been, great so far at this track, and we'll see just how long it takes him to catch, because he will catch, whether it's just on raw pace alone or whether the top 3 start fighting, or just because those tires start to die out for the runners, soft runners. But
Us all over the curb on the exit out of 9 here. Remco Van Putten takes advantage as he was giving him some pressure into the chicane. The Renault into 6th position, coming through 10. Alex Budd, Captain Minor are having an absolute duel.
Well, sometimes you see it, in these races where we get 2 drivers at the back. They're, a bit off the pace in the early stages of the race, and they just don't want to, let each other go, because sitting around for 53 laps on your own could be a bit tiresome. As Alex Budd, big slide there. And Tuptus is in. Tuptus is going for a little bit of an undercut here. 2-stop, very, very possible around here. Soft, medium. I imagine that's sort of what he's going for here. And there are the mediums. So you think that is exactly what he is plotting there in the racing point. So the first pit stop out of the way. Things starting to die down a little bit now as everyone gets into their groove. We've still got, Jules here, there, and everywhere. There's a big battle going on outside the points.
4-door with a big drift coming out through turn 6. This has really exposed him. Dirk Chocolate might have an opportunity. He's on the rear.
Dirk just slid too.
Oh, man. That's not good.
And now it's Yama.
Yama's going to maybe look to get everybody in the end here.
I was looking at this battle outside the points, and you've got it, and then you say, 4-door slid. It would have opened the door, but Dirk Chocolate pretty much replicated it. Same corner, same place. And that's cost him here, because he's losing out to 4-door, and because he's had to defend to Yama here, it's just made that a little bit worse. But BTF there, holding 4-door a bit accountable on those hard.
Captain Minor now. Alex Budd on the inside of turn 11 here. He's going to hold this as tight as he can, and he's going to get that move done. Ace has come into the pit lane, as has Henners. So Ace going on an undercut. We'll see what happens as he will exit the pit lane here. See what position he finds himself in as Vexit and Domi carry on.
And his pit stops promote Ben to P3, and he'll be P1 right now in, I assume a lap's time. Unless Domi goes 1 lap more, I imagine Vexit will come in this lap, with Ace coming in this lap. So, Ben will be in lead of things with a 2.5 second lead, and that is a very, very nice place to be, especially when the 2 cars behind are your only real rivals, and they'll be in 2. So realistically, Ben's lead will be about 8.2 seconds shift in about a minute's time.
Very, very good strategy coming out of the Thai driver. I mean, there's not a lot.
Well, it's been a crash. Alex Budd.
Oh, no.
He's around.
No damage on the front end visibly. Coming out of turn 6. It's an area that, well, it's not unheard of to have any issues. Remco Van Putten, Swifty now. P4 and 5 on the cards here. Tight coming through on the exit of 11. Remco Van Putten takes the Williams. Some idiot now, Scars. Hards versus mediums. Some idiot now. He's pushing around the outside of the Williams. We're coming through turn 13 now. Remco Van Putten not coming into the pit lane. Vexit and Swifty are in. Domi has stayed out, and this is something that I think you and I did not see coming.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. You know, not only does this leave him vulnerable to the undercut here from the Red Bulls, but also he's going to basically have a fight here with Ben the Bear. Whether he lets him by or not, he will lose probably a little bit of time.
Here's
here.
Ace. Comes out right behind Vexit. I think Ace might have been better off taking the inside line there. Might not have been the optimal line, but it would have been the more optimal line to get ahead of his teammate, unless the strategy call is something different.
Ben the Bear into the lead. Again, at this stage of the race, I don't think we expect anything less from the mediums. As four-door sedan is struggling. He gets taken by one, but two drivers. So he appears to have had a disconnection here. BTFU around him.
This is horrible.
Chocolate is going to find his way past as well.
This is horrible if you're a Ferrari fan.
Yama goes left. The four-door goes right. They're both past the Ferrari. So it's disconnected.
Oh, no! Yama's been hit. Oh, my.
Huge crash there for Yama, and he will not be best place, and he's got a 10-second time penalty as well.
That is not good. Those are things you just don't like to see, and Yama right now, he's going to be quite frustrated with that situation. Yeah,
absolutely, and nothing he could really have done there. Domi, Remco stayed out again. Scars on the rear of some idiot here. Both obviously on the alternate strategy. They've gained a lot of places in this race. Four-door sedan, he's still out on those starting softs. Oh, he's in DRS at Ben as well. He hasn't lost out here. And he's staying out a lot longer than those who's gone for the mediums. Presumably soft, medium. But maybe here in Remco's shift the soft hards. It's a little bit trickier to pull off. Obviously, the hards won't have as much pace, but we're seeing somebody at BTFU right now hold their own on them, so might be what he's going for here.
It's a long campaign here around France, and a lot of different strategies already starting to unfold here. You see these hards 4 and 6 on the timing tower. We've had a little bit of drama and Will Gibson's retirement on the opening lap of the race, forcing a VSC, and there goes Domi. Domi is in. Fifty and Captain Minor are having a battle, as are four-door and Vexit. Well, that's four-door sprinting into the pit lane. Vexit on the rear of Dirk Chocolate now. No DRS just yet.
Well, now, Domi's come in for medium, so he's not one-stopping. The question is now what's he going for on his second set? Is it soft, medium, or is he going to try and push for a soft, medium, soft? It's a much harder strategy to pull off than the soft, medium, obviously, but still possible. Alex Blood, four-door sedan, they exchange as they come through out of turns 1 and 2, and Alex Blood ahead there. So despite that spin, still feeling pretty confident. Vexit, Dirk Chocolate, the fresh mediums there.
There goes Ace.
On both Red Bulls. Yeah, very nicely done. And also look at the undercut shift. Domi stayed out 2-3 laps more than these Red Bulls, and he's 5 seconds down on them. That's not good news for him.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy call is there for the Hungarian driver.
Maybe trying to extend it to soft at the end. I could see that. Maybe working out a little bit better for him. Henna's Captain Minor, they're close as they come out of 11. Henna's not able to do anything about that. That's maybe around the outside, though. Later on the brakes. I wasn't expecting that at all. And Captain Minor says no thank you and squeezes Henna's right to the outside there.
You know, Alex Bud, four-door continuing their battle. Of course, four-door with the fresh rubber right now, finding a little bit more traction. And that's going to be BTFU dropping some positions to the two Red Bulls.
And Ennis now finds the position on the Haas of Captain Miner. But like you said, Vector and Ace just following each other too. They're like twins in that Red Bull. What one does, the other does as well. Alex Bud, 3-second time penalty on the AlphaTauri. We've seen a few penalties already crop up on lap 14. So it's kind of early. And if you're picking them up at this stage, it would not be surprised to see them pick up one or two more until the end of this race. Like I was saying, those early corners, you know, 1, 2, side by side in other areas as well, can make it pretty easy. But there's only 3 drivers right now who have picked up, 4 drivers, sorry, who have picked up a 3-second warning, with Alex Bud picking up 2. And then Scars, a 5-second penalty. And Yama, well, he's got a 3-second penalty as well as his 10 seconds for leaving the track earlier on with that collision with the disconnected cars of Yexio.
The separation has really, you know, come through here in the pit stops and the strategies. Seeing a little bit of a, you know, a die down on some of the action as these strategies develop a little bit over the next few laps. And it's always an occurrence we see in these endurance races. You have your highs and lows of the race, as any race has. Strategies starting to take form, and we haven't had any major, you know, incident to cause full-blown safety car. We had the issue with Will Gibson on the opening line, or in the starting line. I don't know what happened there.
Just a VSC, you know, we've seen it a couple times where someone loses it on the line, whether it's because they've, you know, someone's had a better start than someone else and they've just gone a little bit optimistic with where they're trying to go and they've clipped the rear of someone, someone's got a better start, come across the front of someone else. There's a lot of cars on the starting grid, and when they're all close together like that, mistakes can be made, and well, we saw it here caused a VSC, but like I say, no full safety car. We also saw, of course, Yama, little tap from an AI car there with a disconnected driver sent flying as Scars. Bit of a problem for him. He goes very, very wide in the final sector. Coming into turn 13, gets it recovered nicely, but well, he's got 2 very, very fast drivers right now who are not taking any prisoners in the 2 Red Bulls. And well, we like to call them the Charging Bulls when they're in this sort of form. And Vector and Ace definitely deserving of that title right now, Striff.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Domi right now, he wants to catch up to them. He was following them beautifully, but the undercut worked out beautifully for them. And he has been slowly breaking down this gap. However, he's got Dirk Chocolate and BTFU on a different strategy ahead of him, and he needs to clear through this traffic. And this is something that he is really not doing at the speed at which he needs to do it. And we're going to come through out of turn 7 in a few seconds here. And hopefully Domi has what it needs. Oh, he's just tapped Dirk slightly. He's really needing to push here, and he's going to go around the outside of 7 already, moving through on the AlphaTauri just ahead now. Scars, where's Ace? Ace isn't close enough to take the Williams. Scars putting up a bit of a fight here, and this is going to, well, cause a little bit of separation. Now Ace, oh, there's been a yellow flag. What's happened here? Dirk Chocolate.
I
no
don't
damage.
think there was contact with anyone. I think it was just a simple mistake. He picked up a 3-second time penalty, so I think maybe it's a little bit too much curb on the inside of turn 8. Just hooked the car, spun it around, but not too long until he would be probably planning to come into the pits.
Domi on the inside of 11. Scars was just dispatched by Ace. Domi with a snap. BTFU holding 7th right now. Good position for BTFU, and this is really not good for Domi now, as everybody is starting to pull away even further ahead of him.
It's awful for Domi. He's just stuck behind that car. He should get him here. You know, the traction out of the final corner should be better, and there you can see it. DRS as well, gonna drag him along nicely, and he should get past the Alfa Romeo here. No questions asked, but he's lost time in the final sector. Scars doesn't have DRS on the cars ahead, and that's gonna, you know, bring Scars back towards Domi fast. Vexit and Ace, well, they should get past somebody pretty cleanly. Well, somebody is trying to get past Remco here, who has to come into the pit, and there goes Vexit on the inside of the racing point. Can Ace find his way through as well before the straight? They're all side by side, and there's 4 cars side by side. Vexit's up into P2, and Ace, well, he should be into P3 as well. Sometimes it is 3 wide. The racing point on the inside. The Red Bull here gets past some idiot, and he gets behind his teammate as well. But now,
oh, what a lunge! What a lunge from some idiot!
P3, and Vexit's dropping like a stone here. He gets back past Remco, and he might get back past some idiot here. But Ace Ritchie, for the first time in this race, is leading his teammate as some idiot trying to fight Vexit here on the hards, but not going to do anything against those fresh mediums. But my goodness, what excitement there for the podium positions at this stage of the race. Vexit will not be happy that he lost that time. And for Domi, this is good news. Scars, Remco, they're going side by side now. This is bringing in Scars, and it will bring in Domi as well a little bit quicker. Remco now, probably, surely this has forced his hand into the pit lane. And yes, it has. There goes the Dutchman into the pit lane here. Very, very long pit lane, and I would not be surprised to see him come out in and amongst 15th, if not a little bit lower, but it should be 15th, 16th.
17.4 seconds is the gap to Ace and Ben the Bear right now. That is massive, and we'll have to see what it does for Ben the Bear when he eventually comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben is just controlling this race at the front, and you know, it's got to be said, we saw him qualified down in 13th place. He was not pushing at all in that qualifying session. He started 13th. He's up 12. He's into first. He's got a very comfortable gap behind as well. And when he comes up, puts up this BTFU.
Easy as you like.
Change that. We've seen that one, you know, multiple times. And BTFU, he hasn't pit yet on the hards. Same with some idiot there in 4th place. He's had a very, very nice race. Great pace, you know, we call him King of the Pirates all season long. He's been doing some great things in Tier 1. He's pushed a lot, but there's a bit of a slide from the racing point. So those tires starting to, you know, feel it a little bit. 17 laps. He is struggling right now, Striff. There's a lot of corrections being made by Cody in that racing point. See what he's able to do. He's still got DRS in the, you know, Red Bull's ahead.
All right, let's take a look now. Here goes Henners on Dirk. Dirk having an issue there earlier in the race, and no visible damage. However, not all the damage you can take in this game is visible. Neon in the chat there is saying he has a little bit of performance loss.
Yeah, we've seen it before, you know, even that light scratch on that front wing that you do get. As who is that? I think it's Captain Minor. It is off the track in the Haas. Again, no visible damage, and it's not really been the evening for visible damage, with the exception of Larson and Will Gibson in the opening lap. But Captain Minor now losing a huge ton of time in that Haas. Yama, another penalty for the Mexican.
Scars, some idiot now, turn 11. Idiot holding. South African driver on these medium tires, wanting to push through.
Yeah, this is where you need to have, you know, your game plan in mind. Are you at a point in the race where you can fight these battles, or you want to preserve the tires, try and do something a little bit different? Try and push a one stop for the drivers here, you know, some idiot. BTFU on the starting hards. Scars as well, start on the mediums. Just depends what they're doing. For Scars, one stop, two stop, both are available to him. All sort of games as to how much he can push here this stage in the race, and management very, very key in these long races, Schiff. We've seen it time and time again. Tire strategies make or break it. Look at Ben, what we're seeing from him now. Captain Minor, four-door sedan there, side by side. Captain Minor, he did get overtaken into turn 1, but defends on the outside and up the inside into turn 2. Gets past Domi and Scars as well. Domi, he was doing well to hunt down the gap to Vexen and Ace, and he still is. It was about 5 seconds. It's now about 3. I think they know they're on stream as well. They did a little bit of a celebratory weave there with the overtake. I mean, he's doing well at this stage of the race. He's doing what he needs to do. Very much on for a potential podium. It all depends on where Ben the Bear falls after his pit stop. Right now, it wouldn't be very, very low in this grid. I imagine he'd still be top 10. Wouldn't be high in the top 10. Well, here goes Scars in the Williams. Now, is it hard to the end for him, or is he going to do what could be a medium, soft, medium, soft, medium, soft if he's daring. It's another set of mediums, so he's doing a medium, soft here. And serving a penalty and getting a wing change. Or maybe not a wing change, just a penalty served.
Immediate under threat, Domi. Immediate with a little bit of a tail wag there on the car. Domi pushing through. There's not much that the Racing Point can do with the tire differential. Much earlier on the brakes.
Captain Minor and Four-Door have continued their duel as well for 14th. Captain Minor still ahead in that one. Just gets back past in the Haas. Re-establishes himself. Order on Captain Minor still exchanging. This time it's the Ferrari up into 14th. Again, pretty routine move. We've seen that one plenty so far this evening, up on the inside into P8. You expect to see it at a track like this where a DRS zone goes into a heavy braking point, and well, it just makes for a efficient overtake. Doesn't cost either driver too much time if they're not going to fight it.
50 now, looking at BTFU. Dirk moving into the pit lane here, and here comes Swifty up the inside of BTFU, and there's just nothing that BTFU can do about this right now on those hards. Dirk Chocolate, he's going to go for another set of mediums now to the end of this race potentially, and we'll see what he's able to do. Gets that wing changed over as well.
Yeah, well, we were mentioning it just a moment ago about the potential damage he had. Alex Bud's coming in behind him. Hopefully that pit crew is ready for him. It's going to be close. And there's a little bit of a pause for Alex there, although I think it might be a penalty. I don't think that was a penalty. No. I think that was just the crew getting ready.
That was a double stack, and Dirk there cost him.
It's rough for Alex Bud. Hasn't been the evening for him.
No. That's not a fun position to find yourself in when you come into the pit lane and you find that the pit crew has just finished servicing your teammate, and you're sitting there, you know, for a long duration. 18.5 seconds now, the gap nearing 20 seconds to Larsen ahead. Larsen and Yamamoto have just exchanged. Yamamoto moving through on the fresher rubber into 16th position. Larsen, no penalties, however, for the Renault. A big snap, though, coming out of turn 9.
Yeah, and doesn't that, you know, leave him vulnerable to Larsen? I don't think Larsen's going to be able to do anything here into 10. Very fast sweeping right-hander. You really need to be side by side way before the corner if you want to go wheel to wheel through there. And of course now Yama just sort of controlling the pace in front of the Renault. ERS is with the Renault in terms of advantage. Larsen didn't have the greatest start to this race, got caught up in the lap 1 incident. Now though, depending on his tyre strategy, Captain Minor, where has he crashed
That
here?
looks like it might be in the pit lane.
It's not in the pit lane.
It is.
It's on the start-finish straight.
Oh,
it's on the front
my.
wall.
That's a safety car.
straight.
I thought for sure that was going to be going into the pit lane because of where it was on the track map. But as we just saw, as Yama passed him by, that is going to be a safety car. And now anybody that has a fresh set of rubber is going to be happy.
I know he was side by side with Fordor for a lot of this race. I don't know whether, you know, just side by side there into the final corner has cost him, or if he's just lost traction. But as we are saying, it's difficult to pull out a safety car here. Why? Because, well, you don't expect people's drift to crash coming out of the final corner. I don't know how he's managed it, but here we are. Ben the Bear. Well, he couldn't have asked for much better timing here, Joe. Hearts to the end seems just like a perfectly wrapped gift here for the Thai driver. Ace is coming in behind him. Vexit's going to get double stacked. And Domi, well, he will be into the podium positions here. It's not the first time we've seen him up there in the top 3. It's been a little bit of a while since we had seen that. He's the first box as well here, being in the Mercedes tonight. But Vexit, where does he come out with this double stack? Because he might get caught here behind a couple of other drivers who are all coming out. He has been serviced by his pit crew. I think it's his Tuptus as well. He's getting double stacked. Double stacks here. And for a lot of drivers, just going to the mediums, not the hards. So I'm looking, and there's just under 30 laps we've got left. I don't know if mediums are the right call here. You know, you've got Ben the Bear here. He didn't have much of a choice. Domi's gone for the hards as well, but mediums to the end, I think possible. But pace is going to be rough. Tire management is going to be critical.
Chocolate into the pit lane now. He's going to get off the mediums he just put on. He's going to put on a set of hards. I wonder if we'll see his teammate come back in for hards as well. Well, a safety car at the halfway point in this race is really shaking things up here, considering this entire grid is going to get compacted and put back together.
And if you're one of the drivers who haven't been having the best race here, then, you know, it's a great opportunity to get yourself back into things. Bring yourself back towards some potential overtakes. And, of course, some potential points as well. And for spectators as well, for us watching, it injects a lot of action as well. You always see safety cars generate a lot of overtaking, depending on tyre strategies. You know, you've got mediums versus hards here in a lot of cases. You've got Ben Domi with Ace Remco. He stayed out. He's on 6-lap old mediums, so he's sticking with what he's got. You've got some idiot Vexit behind Remco there. Swifty Topsis is on the hard, so he with BTFU behind him. There goes four-door into the pits, the Ferrari. Getting off of a set of 11-lap old mediums.
Yeah, he's currently lapped right now, barely. He's 3 cars behind where he wants to be, and that's in front of the safety car catching himself up. Very unfortunate position to find yourself in. Maybe we'll see some safety car allowances.
Well, hopefully that car doesn't cause too many problems. I don't think the Yags has been in control of that car for quite some time now. We saw it already. Bit of struggle for Yamamoto.
Oh, that's correct. That desync, that disconnect.
Yeah, full crash for Yags, so fingers crossed for the likes of Remco, some idiot, all those other drivers behind it. It doesn't cause too much of a problem here because the AI not too smart when it comes to the multiplayer racing. That'll be a great feature for the next race. If someone has been under AI control for like 3 laps or so, the AI just retires the car in the pit lane. How lovely would that be?
That would be a brilliant idea.
Then we wouldn't have to worry about these things. But the safety car, well, it's coming in this lap. And well, Surprise to very few, I imagine. Ben the Bear leading us off. He's on the hards though.
Yeah, that's going to be very important here for Ace. Utilizing the extra pace in the mediums to get ahead of the tie driver immediately. However, Ben the Bear showing us all evening he is no one to be messed with.
He's keeping pace high here. He wants to keep his temps in his hards. And I imagine as well he will go, you know, before or just after turn 15. There he goes. He's already gone. Early start for Ben. That's exactly what he needs to do. Because of the tire difference here he's got. But Ace Richie should have the legs on him unless Domi can do something about the Dutchman.
Ace had a horrible exit. Domi putting him under immediate pressure in comparison. He didn't push very hard with the battery, no.
Ace did, and I think Domi knows that, so already putting himself on an ERS advantage, but...
Swifty and tough test.
Swifty.
There goes BTFU. Something's gone wrong with Swifty.
It was off the track, and I think he's just waiting to rejoin safely, and as such, you know, cost himself a lot of positions, but doesn't want to impact anyone else. BTFU. It was BTFU, but it's Vincent getting past the...
Took a penalty for gaining a place illegally there. Swifty is under major threat here. Still on the defensive. His teammate Scar is getting through now. Ben the Bear, Ace, they've exchanged coming into turn 10. Ben the Bear drops into second position for the moment. Domi is dropping off the rear of this exchange, and he needs to get himself into this battle. Remco Van Putten, 8-lap-old mediums. They aren't going to hold off the racing point. Swifty and Larsen. Larsen goes through, and there goes four-door on the inside of turn 11 as well. Tons of action coming through here on the restart of this race with all the fresh rubber.
Affects it here. What a lunge into the last corner. That was a bit ambitious for the Red Bull. And it doesn't work for him. But, well, that was a committed move. Doesn't work out for him, but doesn't cost either driver anything, so see what happens. Maybe a few tenths here and there, but no crashes, we say. Swifty's coming to the pit lane, so I don't know whether he picked up damage earlier on when we saw him off the track.
Something definitely happened. Exit now. Oh, what a move here. He's looking for Remco Van Putten. He puts the car inside. Remco, I don't know if he saw him, comes back in. There's contact. Vexit gets the move done. Remco isn't thrilled about it. He's got that overtake in full utilization now. The Dutch driver on the rear of Vexit now. He's going to push to that outside and really hold him there on the inside. Vexit later on the brakes, lunging through.
A great job from Vexit there, not to lose too much time. Sometimes when you see these drivers defend to the inside, you could just go a little bit deep, especially into corners like turn 8 there. Doesn't happen for him. Remco, though, carrying a lot of speed through turn 10 and just taps the rear of the Red Bull.
Oh, he's really lost the car.
He's sliding into the wall. Is he out?
That is out. That's a huge safety car.
Another safety car.
The back right tire is just gone. He slammed that wall so hard.
He was carrying so much speed through turn 10. Just taps the rear of Vexit, and you could see him. He tried to correct it, overcorrected it, lost the car, slid out. It's similar to what we saw with Yama earlier on in the race, but this time it's on its retirement and shift. Well, the one time you don't say it, the safety car has bred a safety car.
Oh no. Alex Budd took a drive-through penalty.
Not a great evening for Alex. He will be, no doubt, increasingly disappointed after that one. Dark Chocolate Yama, they're taking advantage of this, getting onto some mediums here. And when you're that far down, you know, not too many places to lose under the safety car. It makes sense to just have a little bit of an extra better pace towards the end and fresher tires as well.
What a campaign this has been. We're only really halfway through.
Absolutely, and we've got Ace this time leading. Last time we saw Ben in control, and well, this is different because Ace now, he can slow this restart right down, and we've seen him do it before as well. I would not be surprised to see him do it again here. because the hard tires, they're not as good at holding that heat. So his mediums should hold it a little bit better. So he could really cause Ben and Domi some problems here. And for the likes of some idiot here and Vexit, this can be very beneficial. And given that Vexit and Ace, teammates for the evening, both, in the same team as well, I would not be surprised to see that sort of, decision come from Ace Ritchie here. We've seen him do it before. I would not be surprised to see him do it again. The latest safety car. I wonder if it gets late called in here, given that people are, connecting up now. I imagine it will go around again, but it's possible. And obviously, we'd like to see green flag racing resuming as quickly as possible. But I think it's too late. So I think we will be going around one more time.
I'm just waiting up for Swifty there, and we'll go around again here, and it'll be green flag. It looks like on lap 20, well, lap 30.
Yeah, absolutely. Larsen's coming to the pits.
It's an interesting call there, Alex Budd. Probably in one of the most difficult situations here with that drive-through penalty. Other than him, Yamamoto has accumulated 19 seconds in penalties, and that's just a real 12-gauge shotgun shell to the foot, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. Only 9 of those are really his fault. The other 10 coming from that incident earlier on. But still 9 seconds at this stage of the race combined with the 10 seconds, whether it's his fault or not, he does have it. And with, we being only, 29 laps into 53 laps here, he could be on the verge of getting disqualified, Chef, if he keeps picking up 3-second penalties like he's doing. Get himself disqualified here, and we don't want to see that, of course. And I doubt he wants to see that as either. But, I can't imagine he's picking up those penalties deliberately, and as such, just needs to be a little bit more careful. Ben really trying to get some heat into the tires now. He knows that Ace Ritchie holds all of the cards here, and that he can really force Ben and Tomi's tire temps down. So Ben's so aggressively weaving in this McLaren, just desperately trying to get as much heat into those hards as he can. There's the call. And since it comes early, Ace Ritchie can really slow it down here. Get himself to a point where he is starting to freeze those tires behind him, and look at the speed difference compared to the last restart. Already cars bunching up together. For context, this is about, Ace now, he's sped back up, so
yeah, he's trying to
make
pick
sure
up
he
a
keeps
pace
this
a little bit.
consistent. He's sort of back where we were last time.
Curious to see where he decides to slam it down here. Really giving it some time.
Like I said, I would not be surprised to see him slow it all up until he's out of this final corner. And there he goes, lining himself up. And again, he's waiting. He is going to call it down. There it is. Look at that light. Look at that launch. Beautiful stuff from him.
Who's going to be the biggest one to take an opportunity here? No one looking like they're going to take opportunities just yet. A couple people had an idea. No risks. No trigger pulls for overtakes.
Vexit on the inside of some idiot. Oof. Doesn't quite find it there on the racing point. Great racing from both of them there.
Very tight. Very nice to see no contact there.
Oh, both of these drivers very, very experienced. We were talking about how, much of a veteran's grid this was, and both some idiot and Vexit both have performed well in Tier 1 this season, whether it be full-time or in a reserve capacity. Not reverse. I don't think anyone's gone reverse well in Tier 1, but here we are. Swifty gets past Larsen for 15th.
Alex Budd's just sitting on the rear four-door sedan right now. The Ferrari driver has the AlphaTauri just in his rearview mirror as we come through 11 now. Alex Bud looking for that inside line. He's going to find the line, and he is going to push through and take that position from the Ferrari. Despite him having that drive-through penalty, I imagine he'll serve it here. Tuptus and Vexit.
Yeah, Tuptus got past there, and Vex is going to go for another lunge up the inside into 15, and well, it's a ambitious move, and it hasn't worked out again for him here. There's Alex Bud to serve that penalty in the pit lane.
Four-door sedan within a second, and we saw Alex Bud come in, get in for the drive-through. Dirk Chocolate moves up. Yama, Swifty, everyone's moving up now. Still a long race to go here for Alex, and there will still be opportunities for him to maybe catch up things. Should we even see maybe another safety car, as we've already seen 2 around a circuit where you and I weren't necessarily expecting to see 2. We actually had 3 total. We had a VSC on the opening lap before we even made it into turn 1.
And it is that endurance series, and there's more time to make mistakes. I was saying we're well past where we would have finished had it been a normal race. Yama around the outside of Dirk Chocolate through 9. Very nicely done there by the Mercedes, but yeah, mistakes can happen here, obviously. Tire wear is slightly different. Tires wear out at different rates in comparison to standard 50% races, and that can throw a few people off. There is a lot to get through here in a race like this, so you do get these mistakes, and we've seen a couple here that, of course, like you say, safety cars. Captain Minor used to come across the chat saying he's wheel span in 3rd gear out of the final corner, which is what his crash, and obviously we saw Remco Van Putten on the restart just carrying so much speed through turn 10, taps through a Vexit, loses the car, slides into the wall. So
Dirk Chocolate under threat here. He's got Swifty and the Williams barking up his rearview mirrors, and Dirk Chocolate struggling a little bit through that final turn. Here goes Swifty inside through turn 1. He's going to get that move done neatly.
And getting moves done is, it's just the time to do it when you're coming out of a safety car restart, or 2 in this case. Vexit, he's got a pretty nice run on Tuptus despite the racing point having DRS on his teammate ahead. So Idiot not able to get the move. Vexit though, well, there he goes up the inside, and we've seen him favor that move quite a lot. He hasn't been able to get it done through turn 15, but he this time gets it down into turn 8.
A little bit of battery utilization coming out of Idiot here on the run into turn 10. He's charging down the Mercedes of Domi here. Domi just pushing him off, squeezing him off, but now Domi realizes, hey, maybe he's close enough. Gonna leave him some space. We come through turn 11. Domi holding nicely through on the inside now. Behind him, Idiot really doesn't want to fight here or take any unnecessary risks, because Tuptus is, of course, Vexit and Tuptus are, of course, behind him.
Yeah, as well, we've got to factor in that the medium runners here, they need to be some comfortable. Here goes some Idiot on Domi. He's got the pace at this point, and he needs to get through now. Build a little bit of a gap to the Hungarian, so that when the tires do start to swing in the hard flavor, he's got enough of a gap that Domi isn't able to take advantage in the late stages of this race. 20 laps to go. We've done 33.
Idiot, Domi, Vexit all in this tight formation, and I wonder if Vexit is going to have a crack at Domi here soon on these mediums. He's not using any battery right now, and he really doesn't have a need to with the DRS until he drops maybe a little bit further back. Enters. He's looking closely at his teammate for this evening in BT, of course, and now there's an exchange between Swifty and four-door sedan, the Williams, into 11th now.
And he's one of these drivers on the mediums. He's a little bit further down the grid. And then, some of the other drivers were saying push for hards, but now he can push for his teammate. And maybe going to move there.
Yama on the inside of four-door. He gets the move done. Very neatly done from Yamamoto. Dirk Chocolate on the rear four-door will be next in line to potentially take the Ferrari for a position.
Ben the Bear's done very well to stick with Ace, but now just drops out of DRS range. And that is great news for Ace Ritchie, who really, ever since that first safety car, has been having a great time as four-door sedan Yamamoto.
Oh,
Four-door just
that's cost Dirk.
slam on the brakes. Dirk, yeah, Dirk's lost an end plate.
That's cost Dirk, and now Larsen is going to sneak through on the AlphaTauri. Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
For Dirk. And who's this? Four-door sedan's had an issue. He's spun.
It's very unfortunate to see that happen there. Scars now picks up a 3-second time penalty, and things continuing just to shake up as we continue through this race. Domi now, exit.
Domi. A little bit of light contact between the two drivers. Domi really pushing with that ERS down that back straight out of 9 into 10 and just about kept Vexit behind there in that Red Bull. And Vexit, this race really looked like it was all his for the taking because he had pace in qualifying shift like no one else. He had a great race start, was really controlling the pack. Then he got double stacked behind Ace. And that really has cost him here. It's put him in traffic. He hasn't been able to get through. We've seen Ace dispatch Ben the Bear. Then that second safety car out. Ace nailed the restart. Ben's stuck with him here, but it's not going the way Vexit would have hoped it would.
Exit was on for a potential win here. Things have gone very differently. Now Dirk Chocolate retiring the car.
Tough call from him. But after that, I imagine, you know, after 35 laps, an incident happens. Here goes Vexit on Domi. Can he get the run this time? We've seen him do it into turn 8 a few times. Domi defends the inside. Around the outside goes the Red Bull. And he just squeezes through. Does Domi have a response to this? He might just have the run up into turn 10 ahead. Some idiot on the other Red Bull. Ace has had some sort of problem here, Striff. He was leading this race. He's now in 3rd place.
Being told that there might be a steam issue now at this point. Ace having that issue. We'll hope to get him back in here as he's dropping. Well. 4 doors out. It looks like Larsen has also had an issue. Domi gets through on Ace's AI-controlled car now, and suddenly this race taking a different picture, taking a different form here. Ace now back in. Scars has retired the car in the pit lane. Enters with a disconnection.
Yeah, this is not good news for a lot of the drivers right now.
Ace now back in control of his car. We've lost our timing tower for the moment.
Trying to get invites out to everyone here who has disconnected. Henna's back in. Ace is, like you said, has rejoined, but this is shaking up the grid a lot, and we hate to see it. You know, have this take control of the race in the manner it has, but shuffled up the grid and no timing tower. But you can see the lead it's gifted Ben the Bear Striff, and
And the Bear is looking good for the win here now, as he's just on a very, very good tire to the end of this race.
well, here we are, lap 36 out of 53. 17 to go. That's just over half of what we would do if it was a standard 50% race. Now it's about a quarter, or I guess more of a third, but still plenty of time to come back, especially for the, you know, we've had a few disconnects here. Ace has gone from 1st to 6th, and apparently there's a light bit of wing damage on that Red Bull as well. No visible damage, but Neon covering across to the chat. Larsen, I do believe, is back into the lobby now.
Good stuff there. Things still on here in France. What an up and down dynamic race it's been, George. Time tower, we've yet to get drivers 2 through 5 here in their updated intervals.
Yeah, it's been very, very wild, and France has been that here in MRL this season. You know, we had, was it tier 2 with the late safety car drama where half the field pitted for the wrong tires, and now this race with some crazy safety cars being pulled out the restart. Obviously, you know, a crash on the line at the start of things. Now a tidal wave of steam disconnects. A lot has been thrown at these drivers in this endurance race.
Exit here on the rear of Simidiot now. He's going to push to hunt down the racing point, and I think he might have an opportunity to do so here. Of course, he showed us great pace earlier. That double stack costing him.
Yeah, it cost him, but now P3 podium still on for him. We said, you know, the win was in his grasp. Now, I feel like at best it's a P2 unless Ben makes a mistake, and well, that's uncharacteristic. Ben, he's got so much more ERS, and mediums we start to air out. Uptus on Domi just breezes by with DRS. You know, Domi not having any on Vexit ahead to defend himself with. But
Swifty, Vincent, easy exchange.
Well, Swifty, it was an easy exchange, but he picks up 3 seconds
that's
coming
not
through
what he needed to
8-9.
do.
And Vincent's got no penalties here, Swift. So, you know, Swifty's got 9. 2 cars ahead have got 3. Here goes Vincent, though, on the inside, coming through turn 10. And that is a very, very fast right-hand corner. And he has nailed that move. So Swifty, he got past. He took a 3-second penalty for his troubles. Gets overtaken once more. Looks to the inside. But Vincent, very, very impressive driving there from the Haas. That is insane. He is just perfect defense. Alex Budd, well, he's back in on the action. He gets past 4-door sedan. 12 seconds of penalties, though, for the British. And in that AlphaTauri, it's not been a good day for either driver.
Exit push here. Does he use this overtake? He's utilizing it a little bit. You know, he is pushing. He's got to run the DRS.
Advantage.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do much.
Yeah, and an ERS advantage. He had obviously the DRS down into the corner. There's not a lot there. Some idiot can do.
3.1 now
knows it.
is the gap that he needs to hunt down Vexit. He needs to find Ben the Bear on track.
Well, the problem is, Chiff, is that they're going to keep doing this dance. Because now some idiot is going to have DRS of Vexit, with Vexit having nothing to defend from him. He's got a bit of an ERS advantage, but even if Vexit was to catch Ben here, I just don't see it, you know, happening. The tire advantage will be in Ben's favor in a few laps' time. The gap is going to get wider, so it's going to be late in this race if Vexit does catch. And like I say, some idiot now is going to come back at Vexit, whether it's since turn 1 or turn 8. You know, DRS is in the Racing Point's hands. Vexit now pushing with a little bit of ERS, but it's only just going to delay the inevitable.
Ooh, some idiot just picked up 3 seconds. And that is very, very bad for him in his fight for a, well, potential P2 here. Or even a race win.
Yeah, and you know, I was saying before the race that 1-2 chicane at the start of the lap, very easy to pick up a warning here or there, and in a 50% race, somebody would have been fine. Only pick up 2 warnings, the race would have been over by now. But here in the endurance, much more punishing. You've got longer to wait before you can, you know, pick up just 2 warnings without getting a penalty, and Obviously now it's come to bite him here. He has picked up that 3-second penalty. Having a look at the race director, Vexit. He's got two warnings and an invalidated lap time, so he's running a thin tightrope here. Ben the Bear, he's just got the one warning, and he is very good at keeping his nose clean. And I imagine right now with the lead he's got, he will be just keeping himself clean.
Oh, very tight between Swifty and Vincent, excuse me, through turn 11. They were near wheel to wheel. Swifty in 10th position right now. Just want to try and find all the battles.
Yeah, once again, you know, you're at that stage of the race where people are just trying to get into their rhythm. They just want to, you know, bring the car home. And right now for Vincent, no penalties is a great place to be for him, especially with Swifty having so many. But this battle now, it might just be a little bit of fun for them. They're in a bit of a land of their own. There's no one in front of them for 3 seconds. There's no one behind them for 7.5. So for these two drivers having a little bit of side-by-side racing, that's what they want to have. They don't want to be sitting here for the remainder of this race all on their own, just lapping lap after lap. They want to have a little bit of a wheel-to-wheel battle, and well, they can give each other that. And there's always that sort of mutual agreement you see drivers, you know, get locked into. I imagine Alex Budd and Ford or Sedan are, you know, probably thinking a similar thing.
There goes Swifty, Vincent, wheel to wheel through 8 and 9. Tight between the pairs. Swifty gets the move done. How's the exit for the Haas driver? He's utilizing that battery. He's getting the fronts to the rears on the Williams. Wheel to wheel now on the inside through turn 10. He is going to move back through, edging just ahead as we come through turn 11 now. Again, wheel to wheel between the pair of these drivers.
Side-by-side action, and it's clean, and this is what we're all here to see. And Swifty just comes out ahead here, but does Vincent have the way back? No, he doesn't. Well, it looked like he had a wobble, but he's got a great pace with the ERS utilization up the inside into 14 here. Swifty lets him go. Now looking around the outside to try and find a cutback as they come down out of the final corner. Here goes Swifty, bit better on the exit here. The mediums versus the hards, but Vincent, DRS is in his favor, and as such will hold the move down into turn 1. But they are, Jeff, you've got to imagine, just having fun at this point. And well, for us watching, well, it's fun for us too. So the more the action, the merrier. And well, these two, they've generated quite a bit in the last few laps.
Yeah, it's been a very, very solid run for the pair of these drivers here, fighting for these last points paying positions. Of course, Swifty with 9 seconds in penalties. However, Larsen has 3. So he is safe at the moment for any potential drop out of the points here. And as we say that, actually, Alex Budd, after having served a drive-through penalty in this race, is now into 12th position, having now dispatched 4-door sedan on the fresher hard compound tire. So Alex Budd trying to do what he can.
Swifty once again having a look at the Haas around the outside of turn 10 this time. Plenty of ERS at his disposal. Doesn't use it yet. Swings to the inside as they come into 11. Forces Vincent a little bit wide. Here goes the Williams up the inside. There's the late apex, but that's just to, you know, shave off a bit of speed there to hold the tighter line. And as such, Vincent stays ahead. We've got a yellow flag. 4-door and Yama.
Oh,
I think they might have come together there.
well, there's a
lot of
chunk of that car
VSP
missing. Yeah, that's a huge chunk of the Ferrari missing, and that is the second time. That is the second time that these two drivers have come together on track. The first time cost another driver in Dirk Chocolate, and he's out of this race as a result.
Yeah, not surprised to, you know, see a VSC spawn there. There was a lot of debris off of the Ferrari. But yeah, those two, they've come together a little bit. And Yama's just coming to the pit lane as well. So I wonder whether he's just being a bit optimistic on the softs. And well, now he's going to have to come straight back in to get a fresh wing. So obviously we didn't see it. I'll have to wait for stewards possibly to cast their eye over that one at the end of things. 10 laps to go though. And there it is. Green flag racing back on the menu. No one picking up a drive through. Final 10 laps, and it's Ben the Bear getting ready to lap the first human drivers. Obviously, we've had Yagi Soul's car there in the race for quite some time, but now Ben, well, he won't get the cars. They've just come out the pit lane now that they're on fresher tires. Toptus, he's into the pit strip.
Interesting to see that.
And doesn't know there's a front wing health for him. He's serving at 5 seconds, but he's not getting any front wing. I don't know why he's pitted here for softs. And now he's just been held in the pit lane for... I'm after the stop too. I'm not... And he's got damage on that front wing and he hasn't chosen to change it. That is bizarre from the racing point.
TFU on the rear of Ace now, pushing here. He has so much battery.
Yep, he started on the hards. Got a great, safety car at a good time. Onto the mediums. Been able to just control his strategy here. Ace, no penalties though. Obviously, he had that problem earlier on with the steam disconnect, and then his AI car apparently getting a little bit of damage on that Red Bull, which will be costing him a bit of pace. And you can see that obviously he was one of the top runners in this, qualified on the front row, was really carving his way through the grid after his pit stop, but now the Red Bull just struggling a little bit with that pace. So the front wing definitely damaged in some way, you can believe. So unfortunate for the Dutchman, but now he's going to struggle to keep the Alfa Romeo behind.
Toptus just took a huge penalty on his way into the pit lane. BTFU ticked 3 seconds. Yeah, this race starting to take its toll on some of the drivers here.
This time he is getting a front wing, but he's now got to serve the 5 seconds that he just picked up. So not only did he serve a 5 seconds last time, he's going to serve one this time as well, and he's getting the front wing change. So he's just lost a huge amount of time. He's in about P5 a moment ago, now P11. And it's going to be P12 as there goes Alex Budd. So very, very unfortunate for the racing point, and he just needs to get back up to speed ahead of Yama here.
I have to say, for Alex Budd, this race hasn't been a complete loss considering the up and down dynamic that he was presented with, moving into 11th position from the rear of this grid following an unusual disqualification in the qualifying session. His teammate, however, Dirk Chocolate, not so fortunate considering the contact that he came through into with Four-Door after their exchange. Yama and Four-Door in turn 1. BTFU still hunting down Ace, and Ace right now not utilizing a ton of his battery. BTFU not utilizing a ton of his battery either, but it is the tightest battle on track.
Yeah, and going back to Alex Budd as well, straight from when we were talking to the qualifying, Alex, well, just come back from injury. He's got very high force feedback wheel. Getting to the end of these races is, very challenging for someone with that equipment. And well, 46 laps, like you said, had a lot thrown at him. Still be here as BTFU and Ace. There goes the Alfa Romeo out the inside. But all these drivers doing very, very well to stay in here. We have had 5 retirements so far. Ace, though,
really
have a look
burning
back here on the inside of turn 10. What a great exit from turn 9 he's had. And they're going to go side by side here through the fast right-hander. And it is the Dutchman ahead here as they come down into turn 11. And Ace just sneaks back past into 5th place.
Nicely done there to get that move back for the Red Bull driver, of course. And he used a little bit of his battery there, but of course BTFU still has a solid reserve. I saw Ace conserving a bit of battery on that last lap until BTFU overtook him. Now, of course, DRS back in favor for the Alfa Romeo. We look back at Tuptus. He is very fast on the rear of Alex Budd, and he could have a move potentially done by turn 11 if he continues on this path. Of course, there is a penalty differential there for these drivers. So much speed for Tuptus, really utilizing that battery now on the inside of turn 10, moving through ahead into turn 11, neatly done. Just a solid move.
Yeah, Tuptus, great pace today. Again, this double pit stop that he's just had has really cost him big time, but maybe able to sneak a fastest lap in, and other than that, not really a lot of hope for him to score points, because he won't get that 1 point either unless there's a late safety car, where at the point now where getting a safety car would be very unlikely. Swifty on the rear of Larsen here. Blue flags are being shown. That's for the Ferrari ahead of them. Yama, well, I think he's just called it quits in the pit lane, but there goes the Williams up the inside of the Renault, and there's the Ferrari. Larsen very, very wide.
Yeah, I was trying to see if there was someone there maybe pushing him off, or maybe he just had an issue.
I think just late on the brakes, trying to maybe defend around the outside, but a miscalculation, whichever way you look at it for the Renault. And as such, you could just see Swifty leaving in the distance, and now he's going to get caught behind the Ferrari at a bad time. But there we go, the AI actually pulls off, I guess, out of it pretty cleanly.
BTFU looking at Ace now, pushing along the inside is BT, and he's going to get that move, and now that's an illegal overtake. Yamamoto's car on the way out of the pit lane has cost that yellow, and it's prevented BTFU from a successful overtake here. He's granted it back to Ace. Clear as day. I don't think anything else happened there. He just went off to the left with the brakes.
Yeah, I think that has to be. You know, the yellow flag light is saying Yama's retired car coming out of the pit lane there, costing. But look at the run.
Yeah, he's just sent everything.
Oh, that's a bit of a corner cut there. And he's still side by side, and I don't know, he's going to have the battery advantage if he wants to push for it. Well, actually, he doesn't. Ace has conserved so much that he's actually now on par with the Alfa Romeo here, side by side, as they come through into turn 10. And it is still the Dutchman ahead. But BTFU, can he go later on the brakes into 11? No, he can't. And Ace Ritchie proving that he still has the pace here. On lap 48, 24 lap old tires for both of them.
Tuptus has pit again? What on earth has happened that has cost him pit again here?
Maybe another attempt at fastest lap? I don't know. It's the only other thing I can come up with.
5 stops in this campaign for the Racing Point.
We're expecting, you know, a lot of 2 stops, 5 stops. That wasn't really a strategy I was expecting, but for the Racing Point, it's just how his race has sort of unraveled itself for whatever reason. And Ace actually now starting to just sort of pull away a bit from BT, but BTFU will have the DRS to drag himself back in. That's another penalty. That's 20 seconds now for the Racing Point.
Yeah, this race really hasn't gone his way.
Not
Fairly sure what's going on with him.
Only a few laps to go now for the drivers. They're nearly there. And we were saying earlier, it's impressive to get to the end of these, you know, races, especially for those who haven't picked up a penalty around Paul Ricard here. To keep going, to be consistent, that, you know, lap after lap, it is no mean feat. Ben the Bear has been on top of his game. We've always wondered, you know, what would happen if he had been in Tier 1 this season. Obviously, been in the APAC division where he was crowned champion quite dominantly. One of 2 winners in that division this season. Now looking like he's trying to put his name up on the list of winners here in the Endurance Series as well.
3.9 seconds to, well, it's the gap, and it's just 3 seconds to some idiot as well. Domi, 3 seconds in penalties, and I imagine he'd want to catch up with a podium position. Massive shout out to Hodge TJ. Thank you very much for the raid and host. Greatly appreciate it. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to the chat. We're just about to wrap up a 100% distance campaign here around Circuit Paul Ricard. It's the French Grand Prix for round 5 as we look to watch Formula 1 racing go through this circuit tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's been a very, very interesting campaign. A lot of pit stops, a couple of safety cars, a VSC right on the line as soon as the lights went out. So if the race tomorrow is as half as interesting as this, I think we'd all be a little bit surprised with how previous Paul Ricard races have gone. But qualifying today, a fairly interesting spectacle here. And right now we had a Red Bull 1-2. Red Bull are on pole in real life as well. It doesn't look like they're going to convert it to a win here, though, in the digital space.
.2. We just need to see Vexit push here. But it's 27 lap old hards versus 27 lap old mediums, and we know Vexit, very fast driver, an extremely fast driver. But Ben the Bear, he is too.
Yeah, Vexit's just on the back of his first win. And it's been a long time coming for him. And P2 losing out to only Ben the Bear. He'll be a little bit disappointed, I imagine, because he could have won this race as Hennes and Swifty have exchanged. But Vexit he's another one of these drivers. Season 4 here at the Misfits has really given the spotlight to some drivers with huge improvements. A lot of them here on the grid tonight, and Vexit, definitely one of those, really brought himself to the front pack. He's always been contesting for a podium here or there, but over the past few weeks, he has been on fire in terms of his form.
Yeah, he really has.
And it's great to see that, improvement over the course of a series. So, you love to see it. And now here, well, toughest, fastest lap of the race. He finally got it. After all these pits for fresh salt, he gets it after 4 laps on those tires.
He had to cycle his tires, I think, there, in order to get his best set to do the run, and it just wasn't paying out the way he wanted. An ultimate lap of the race. BTFU still on the hunt for ace. Vincent, 8.8 seconds away from BTFU right now, is potentially in range of a position. BTF with 9 seconds in penalties.
And that means that Ace really doesn't have to worry too much about...
No, he doesn't. He's in a very good position.
Whatever happens here, he really finishes P5.
Yeah, it's a comfortable P5 right now for him. I think that the only way he goes backwards is if he takes a major error here and crashes the car. And of course, the same could be said for anyone ahead of him. But P5 looking like it's done and dusted for one of the Red Bull drivers. Vexit, however, 3.2 seconds on the rear of Ben the Bear. Well, it's looking like it will be a podium finish for him in that second position. Some idiot, 3.9 on the rear of him. Ben the Bear, 3.4, well, in front of him.
Domi's catching some idiot as well. I don't know whether he's going to get close enough here on the final lap of the race. He's really pushing, but some idiot's got the fuel light flashing as well, so doesn't have too much to push with. If Domi can get within 1 second coming out of turn 6 to get DRS here, and he might just be able to as well. It's going to be close here. He has to nail this first sector here, coming through 3 into 4, and all he needs is DRS. I don't think he's going to have it, though. He's losing time. Somebody has absolutely nailed this section, but he's missed it there. He's missed it there, and that is going to give the Hungarian DRS hit, and he's got it. Here he goes. So Domi now, they're equal on penalties. Domi has DRS. This will claw him up. Ben picked up a 3 seconds, and Vexit 3.4 behind him, Striff.
Well, he doesn't have the DRS. He didn't get it. He didn't have it down the straight. His rear wing was closed. BTFU now. Looking at Ace. He's going to have DRS down on the inside. Now he's going to put his car there. Ace trying to just give him some room, but the car angle there for BTFU was not the most ideal for trying to get that move done where Ace put his, and now it's going to be a push coming out of turn 10, excuse me, into turn 10. Nothing doing. Ace just moving his car in the way of that Alfa Romeo. Ben the Bear now crossing onto the start-finish straight.
What a win.
What a win from him, for sure. The McLaren coming home to take it. It's going to be the Red Bull of Exit in second position here with some idiot Domi right on his rear, 3 and 4. And it will be
BTFU.
Ace. BTFU having their race to the line. A little bit of a weave there for Ace finishing. And now Vincent. He needs to get within 9. He's within 8. And I think he's going to get BT here. Yes, he does. 6th position.
Side by side.
Oh, this is intensity. How are the penalties for the pair of them? Larsen ahead on penalties, but you like to see the action on track. How's it going to go to the line? Larsen's ahead, and he will take it on track. And on the penalties, of course, Alex Budd now. A very up and down dynamic drive for him. He is coming through Sector 3 in the Alpha Tauri. He served a drive-through in this race. Tuss in 12th. 4-door in 13th position. And then Yag, he had that disconnect the entirety of this race pretty well that we've seen his ghosted car.
Here comes Alex Budd. Challenging campaign for him, but he brings the car home. P11 just outside of the points. But given the circumstances from P20 to P11, not bad for the Alpha Tauri. And you love to see him have a result like that. Tuptus, well, he did pick up fastest lap, but at what cost for the racing point? He finishes 12th place and won't get the point for it. And as he gets 13th, he got relegated because of those penalties. So there's some idiot. A podium for the American driver. And, well, driver of the day to add to his collection as well. But there he is, Ben the Bear, up against Tier 1 drivers. What a result for him.
Well, we're going to be talking to all 3 of these guys in a second here, and I imagine Ben the Bear is going to have, you know, a nice opportunity to say something about this one. Just a great drive overall from everyone that finished the race today, and if you finish the race today, Gazieg's going to be coming to say hi to you, I think, after the race. Got some codes there for the giveaway we've got going on right now. Exclamation giveaway if you're interested in winning a free racing rig. But here it is, Ben the Bear. Ben the Bear from 13th position on this grid, taking the win, the tie driver in the McLaren today. It was a one-stop for him. Vexit starting on pole position. Of course, he has finished second. It was a bit of a mix-up at the Red Bull garage, I think. A double stat costing him maybe a potential victory today. Some idiot will come from 16th all the way to 3rd. And big shout out to Ace coming through with a raid, as well as Vexit, both of the Shizou drivers in the Red Bulls. They started it on the front row. They finished it in the top 5 with Vexit on the podium there, the English driver. Not getting that win. Some idiot will be thrilled with that top 3 finish from 16th here around France. Domi, he started in 4th, he finishes in 4th, and we saw again Ace, he finished in 5th from the front row. Vincent moves up 2 slots. BT makes up 8 positions. 50 drops back 3, and Larsen picks up 5 slots from where he began in 14th position in the Renault for the home constructor. And then it is Henners, the other Englishman on the grid today, in the Alfa Romeo. He started 7th, and he will finish out the points finishers here in 10th. 4-door, Alex Budd, Tuss with the fastest lap. Yags, Yama, Scars, Dirk with the unfortunate incident into the rear of 4-door after that incident with Yamamoto. Remco Van Putten, Captain Minor, and Will Gibson. We're all here for this one. Well, Will Gibson was here for about 5 minutes, and then he had to, well, he rotated the car, we'll say. I'm not entirely sure what happened. But that is going to wrap up the French Grand Prix interviews in a moment, and then a raid, of course, on the Twitch community for Formula 1 as always. Man, what a race that was, you know.
Yeah, that was just incredible, you know. we said coming into this that tire strategy was going to play a role, and you just have to look at the podium and where they started. Ben the Bear, 13th to first. Obviously, a well-timed safety car for him there, but he managed the restart pretty well. Obviously, had to deal with another one. Ace got past, and then Ben had to, wrestle with sort of the fact that someone on mediums is starting a race when he's on hards, but he managed to keep with Ace for a long enough time. Then, of course, there was that sort of wave of disconnects with Steam having a problem, which included Ace. That cost the Dutchman so much there. But Vexit, his teammate, started pole, had a bit of a challenge when he got double stacked when that first safety car came out to play, but, well, still finishes P2, and Some Idiot as well. Well, and again, a great example of what is going to happen with the strategies here. I was talking to him. He was confident that something different would work. Starting on the softs wasn't what he wanted to do. He started on the hards, made the one-stop work. 16th to 3rd. A great performance from him. We'll talk to all three of the podium finishers in just a moment once we got it. But thank you all so much for watching. It's been a long time. And of course, a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing, !NLR in the chat. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, be sure to check them out over on their website. An !giveaway as well, because we're giving one of their FGT-Light rigs away, and it's free to enter. All you got to do is copy, type that out in the chat, and they'll take you to the giveaway and how you can enter that one. But yeah, in a few moments' time, we'll be getting interviews underway. And apparently, it is Mr. Dirk Chocolate's birthday here. So a big shout out to him, massive member of the MRL community, as well as just the F1 community in general here on Twitch. So a big shout out to him for that as well, Neon. Thank you for pointing that one out. But I think we're just about ready. All three drivers ready and waiting for interviews. And there we are. I think we're just about ready to get an interview with Mr. Some Idiot.
All right. Welcome to Mr. Some Idiot, or Cody, or Jack Sparrow, man of many aliases. It is the French Grand Prix round 7 of the Endurance Series. You came in as a wildcard driver, and, well, you're talking to us, so how did it go?
I'm really happy, to be honest. I said to myself at some point in that race, I'm like, I'm gonna get myself a podium out of this. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I almost lost that to Domi at the end. I think a couple more laps. You might be speaking to Domi right now, but like I'm happy with that. P16 to P3. And like I said, I wanted to get in here with you guys. I wanted to have an interview tonight. That's what I wanted. So I'm happy to accomplish that. Top 2 guys too quick for me. I just ran the best race I could, and thankfully I'm here.
Very dynamic race. It opened with a virtual safety car. Talk us through your thoughts on that. We had 2 safety cars, yellow flags. How did they impact you today?
First VSC, I just saw a car spin in front of me. I was able to jink left, avoid it. Got 3 spots. That helped me in the initial start phase, especially with the hards, because they were going to struggle to fire off. I was just trying to do the best I could with what I had. My initial plan was to try to cycle in with the 2 stoppers and see if I could get into their pit window, being relatively close to them. But that second safety car, lap 22, that was probably best case scenario for myself, Ben the Bear, BT, FU, everyone that was hadn't pitted yet, because we'd basically been able to cycle on tires with the 2 stopper. That was our best scenario. There was the third safety car that basically bunched us all up together again, and then we had, was it a Steam outage? Would anyone know? Something happened to about 4 or 5 people disconnected.
There was, as far as Unicorn and I are aware, there was some element of a Steam disruption or some kind of disconnect. We did lose a couple of drivers at that time. Mr. Ace had been one of them. So,
yep, and he was up front. He was leading the race as well.
Yeah, so crucial
that was
disconnection there for Mr. Ace Ritchie, and we absolutely hate when these things come into play, and it's not the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Speaking to you, a driver no stranger to 100% distance races, just on that subject for a moment, what kind of emotion goes through your head if you have a disconnection in a race like this, especially you're leading it, potentially you're 70% into it, and that happens? What goes through your head, just out of curiosity, as maybe not the person it happened to, but as a bystanding driver?
Well, as a bystander, you have to take advantage of what happens to you or what happens around you. I mean, part of racing is just being in that position to take advantage when something happens. And this time it wasn't me that lost out, but it was Richie. I've been on that other scenario before as well, where I lose out in that, and that just happens sometimes. I'm not. It's a shame for Richie because he probably was in an excellent position to fight for the win with Ben, but it's also a case of those things happen in racing. It just, especially when you get 70-80% in, you are well stuck in. You are driving you're driving as hard as you can, as best as you can, doing whatever you have left. It's a shame. It is a shame when that happens, but yeah, you have to be in the position to take advantage of it when it happens, not to you but to others. And like I said, that's part and parcel why I'm speaking to you guys right now. I probably would have been fourth or fifth without something like that happening, but you have to take advantage of what's given to you.
That's right. Well, it's a big congratulations on the third place finish. It was a huge haul of positions after where you began. Any messages for the viewers before we wrap up?
Not a lot I can think of, but I'm just like I said, I'm really happy to be able to talk to you guys tonight. I wanted to get a podium out of this. That was like, I could do this. Things are happening to others. I got to take advantage of this,
Yeah.
And I'm just really happy to be P3 right now. Maybe I didn't have the speed for it, but dang it, I was in the position to take it, so I grabbed it with both hands. So thank you guys for having me.
Well, congratulations, Cody, and of course, well, maybe we'll see you next week in Austria or one of the next endurance races, and we'll be talking to you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
That was some idiot, our third place finisher, and of course now time to speak to a driver we have had the opportunity to speak with already this week after, well, Vexit, you won this week in the Tier 1 division around Brazil. Now, you're here after a very, very solid lap in qualifying. A beautiful lap in qualifying, setting yourself up very well for a potential win here. However, second position, all things said and done. How you feeling?
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. It was a good race, but I think there was certainly more that could have gone my way. I was working quite well with Ace earlier in the race, just pulling away from, or trying to pull away from everyone else and build a bit of a gap. Then when the safety car came out, or the first safety car, I can't remember exactly when. The race was a bit turned on its head for us, and it was a lot more difficult because I had to stack behind Ace, and Ben got a free stop. GG to him, by the way. And then, yeah, after that, it was basically just try to recover, get back up to the front, and then after, I think there were a couple disconnects. One of them was Ace, which didn't help, obviously,
No.
in terms of like both of us, but helped me. But yeah, at the end, didn't really have enough time to react to Ben getting a penalty. So yeah, we live and learn.
Well, it was a great race overall. It was a definitely intense matchup between you and, well, Ace and you. It's looked like you guys were fighting at one point there, but I think it might have just maybe been team tactics between you. Like you said, you guys were communicating. Ben the Bear, great pace today. Looking ahead, are you going to be doing more endurance races? Austria, perhaps, coming soon? Or how do you feel about these 100% distance campaigns after races like today?
They're quite different compared to what I'm usually used to. Obviously, just like short quality, 50% race. So yeah, it's quite nice to have a bit of a difference, and especially when it's a bit more relaxed. There's not there's a lot more time to make moves and just like be a bit more patient about what you're doing. It's a lot nicer to drive, and it's a bit more relaxed compared to say tier 1. So yeah, I think I'll probably be doing a few more in future. And yeah, concerning Austria, not the track I like the most, but for sure I think I will attend if I can. That's for sure.
Well, congratulations on an amazing pole position here today, as well as your second place finish, all things said and considered. Vexit Unicorn, do you have any questions for Vexit before we move on to speak with Ben?
Well, Vexit, I think, just a great run of form at the moment for you. And now, obviously we've seen the tier 1 performances. They've really been coming through thick and thin, podium after podium at the moment. You win this, week, and now a P2 here, a tough grid in a tough race. You said it's a bit more relaxed, but obviously double the distance makes it a little bit harder. does this just increase that confidence going into next week tier 1 and maybe obviously Austria if you're able to attend that as well?
Yeah, I think I sort of keep different leagues or splits different. So then that way I'll know about my run of form in that league rather than every other league. But so then if there's a negative, I can forget about it basically in all the other leagues. But if there is a win that I have, then yeah, I'll take it as a positive into every other race. So yeah, I'd say it should hopefully give me a bit of a boost going into races like Abu Dhabi. But yeah, it'll still be tricky against such a competitive grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Vexit, the confidence seems to be snowballing at the moment. The results are continuing to pull through. And obviously, good luck on Thursday for Abu Dhabi. But again, a huge congratulations for tonight here in France.
Thank you.
Exit. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, now last but not least, it is going to be Mr. Ben the Bear, and it is the race win for the Thai driver today in the McLaren Unicorn. Honors are yours.
Well, Ben, hello, congratulations. Not the first time that you and I have spoken this season. 16 wins in APAC. Now you've got one here in endurance as well. How does that feel? Double the distance. How are you feeling after that one, man?
Very tiring. I think a bit of the hesitant moment at the end as well with the penalty. I think it caught me off guard by a bit because I was in the zone, and then all of a sudden, I think I made a tiny error which cost me probably almost the race if I didn't react. But I think it was a really good race. I think from my point.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw, qualifying. Apparently, you weren't pushing. Were you, apparently you're using lower engine modes. Didn't want to qualify on the softs, I'm assuming. What was, the thought process behind that?
I mean, since I've been doing France, I did France before with the previous races. I think I found that the medium one-stop strategy is much more probably keen from how I how I drove the car. So I looked into that a bit more. I think before the race, and I found out maybe I should just go for it, have a one-stop strategy, and just push to the limit. I think so. That's how I had my thought process.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The one stop, not only did it, appear like a very strong option coming into this, given the pit lane length, but also you were helped along by a very well timed safety car. How long was it until you were planning to pit anyway? Was it always going to be, medium hards at that sort of point in the race, or were you going to stretch them a little longer?
I think I would have stretched them a bit more. I think until lap 20, 27, 28, just to get probably the maximum out of the mediums before they drop too much. So I planned on having the gap between Vexit, I think, not more than 15 seconds. So I come out in clear air, able to push, I think, a few laps before managing again. So I was quite planned. So I think it was really good.
And then obviously safety car restart, ace on the mediums, got by it. And then we have another safety car come out. You're on the hards. Temperature, obviously now you're not the one controlling the restart. Ace has sort of the cards. You got away pretty well, but how difficult is it when you're behind someone on mediums to restart on the hard compound tire and in this race in Pacific?
First, I need to give my hearts out to Ace. Just being unlucky with the DSQ with just like not getting disconnected. My heart goes to him, but it's very difficult starting. I think a step harder tires than Richie. It's very, I think, I had to push because of how if I did push it the first few laps, I think he would have probably gotten away, at least build a gap between me and him, and then he'd probably just sell off. So I really was looking into just seeing when he would just go, and then I think utilizing my ERS to the fullest until I'm able to get past him, or either just stay with him until the end of the race.
Yeah, well, Ben, today, another win for you this series. A little bit of a different campaign, obviously 100%. But again, huge congratulations. Good luck for tomorrow in the APAC division. Obviously, Brazil, the penultimate round. But for me, congratulations, Striff. Any questions for race winner Ben the Bear before we wrap things up here?
No questions for Ben. I just know that it was a great drive for you. Strategy call worked out perfectly. Obviously, penalty in the end there, surprising you, but solid, consistent drive from you today, Ben. So congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you in more races as we move ahead.
Thanks, George. Thanks, Driff.
Thank you so much. That is going to wrap up the action for round 7. It was the French Grand Prix, and it was Unicorn and I taking you through all of it. And we are going to be back next week with yet again another edition for round 8. It will be Austria. And then, well, we have a ton of racing coming through this week for MRL starting. Well, not starting, but of course, Tuesday, we have Abu Dhabi. We're back for MRL. It's the final round of the season, the 22nd round. And we're going to be going to Abu Dhabi with all 5 of our racing divisions. Tomorrow, we will be finishing up action around Brazil for both the APAC and the Formula 2 racing. And that will be on the YouTube channel. And I'm very, very much excited to check out the F2 and the APAC. Been a lot of fun lately. And, well, Unicorn, any last words before we head out?
Yeah, well, obviously, like you say, APAC tomorrow, the penultimate round, wrapping that up for our tiered action. It's been great so far. This has obviously been a great start to the triple header here. You know, France and then Austria for 2 rounds. We love a bit of Austria, don't we, Striff? So looking forward to that. But a lot of action here as we sort of round out season 4 of the Misfits, and then a lot to look forward to, like you said, in the coming weeks. But thank you everyone so much for watching this one, and as well a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing, !NLR in the chat to check them out on their website for sim racing rigs, wheel stands, motion sims, that kind of thing. An ! Giveaway as well if you want to win an FGT-Light rig. But that's all from us. Like Striff said, we'll be back tomorrow over on the YouTube. First of all, for APAC 12:30 BST for those of us in the UK, and obviously 1:30 for everyone in Europe. But that's all for now, and until tomorrow, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.